Hi everybody, and thanks for joining me today. So yeah, working more on the pillar here. More pale colors, but we got some good lighting today. It's very bright and sunny out there, and with it bouncing off the snow, it's almost too bright. But yeah, getting close to 98 or 99,000 here, so who knows? Like I said, may hit 100,000 by the end of the month, may not. I'm not making it a goal because that'll just be stressful, but it's coming along nicely. Yeah, definitely happy with the progress that I've made. So yeah, like I said before, last time, I had worked on the tail feathers, and now I'm kind of starting to convert things back to my usual diagonal slope. When there's a lot of big blocks of color, especially if they're slanted the other way across the design, I can tend to deviate from my diagonal a bit. So now getting back on track. So I just moved my frame yesterday. Yeah, it was a bit of a kerfuffle. My floor stand kind of folded in on itself. A couple bolts slipped at once, and so I had to do a lot of sort of rearranging to get everything to line up nicely again. Yeah, it seemed every time I shifted one angle on one of the joints on the floor stand, it threw everything off for another angle, and when I tried to fix that one, it was off again, and yeah, it was a big pain. Ugh. But I did finally get it sorted, so. Yeah, because I don't want it to sort of be leaning sort of too far forward, or it tends to kind of tumble onto me, but I don't want it leaning too far back, or the sort of the neck of the stand kind of gets in the way of my hand that's underneath the frame. So yeah, it's kind of a balancing act to get it just right so that it will, oops, tied itself in a knot. Yeah, so that it will stand up straight, not tip over, and also not have anything in the way of the path of my hand, because that would just be really irritating trying to stitch like that. All right, I'm gonna take a look. This thread here, yeah, that's a pretty decent one. So I'm gonna see if I have a short piece for just those two there. No, I don't. So what I may do, rather than starting another thread, I think what I'm gonna do is actually unpark this, do those two stitches I've highlighted, and then repark it. Yeah. I didn't, I guess, plan ahead as well when I was doing my last pass across the fabric, where I would have parked it over further to the left initially instead of, yeah, what I ended up doing here. Okay. Yeah, it's again supposed to be above freezing this coming week, and so far the forecast has not shown any major dips in temperature, so yeah, that's good. Hopefully it will hold that trend until spring. Yeah, looking at the mock-up, I kind of don't expect there to be as much pink on the pillar as there is, but when you back up, it looks okay. So, like I've said, so far, Heaven and Earth Designs has not steered me wrong. So, I have trusted the pattern. So yeah, sort of converting to another color palette here. Yeah, I packed away a whole bunch of colors last night because I basically finished the last bit of tail feathers that was on this pass here. Last night or night before, something like that, yeah. Before I quit for the day, and then I shifted my frame over, which should be the last time I have to do this for this month. And then it will be time to, yeah, take it out and show you guys my progress for this month. Yeah, I can't remember where I started at. Around 90,000 total, I think. Maybe less, I'm not sure, but yeah, either way. Yeah, we should make 99,000 by the end of the month for sure, and like I said, we will see if 100,000 total happens or not. So there's sort of like a column here, sewn, and then I'm going to get back into the vines again. Yeah, flowers and vines. Oh, oh goodness, pardon me. Ugh. Yeah, it was another night of not great sleep, unfortunately. So, sorry if I got less to say today. Ugh. Brain's a little slower when I'm more tired. Though, I mean, really, it kind of always goes at a mile a minute, yeah. Ugh, that's ADHD for you. Well, it's kind of nice. My kiddo gets like a week off school, so I won't have to get up at my usual time. I can sleep in a bit, which is, yeah. There, I was a little twisted there. Yeah, they get more breaks than I did as a kid, I have to say. Like I said, Easter, they get a whole week. We got 4 days. Yeah. Good Friday and Easter Monday off. But he gets like the whole week, so. Yeah, they got like Good Friday and then like the whole following week off, so. Yeah, so, like I said, I don't think I'll make 33% by the end of this month. I will definitely be a third done by the end of next month, I should say. probably more than that because, yeah, I have to reach 33.33. Always funny. I saw a meme saying, you know, if you cut a cake into thirds and each, you know, one is 33%, they said, where's the final 1%? The person said, it's on the knife. It's like, oh yeah, that works. Ugh. Oh my goodness. Oh. I think I'll go on my walk later. I didn't do it this morning. I had too much stuff to do first, so I'll do that this afternoon to try to wake myself up a little bit. Yeah, so not as many colors here, but there's a fair amount of changing of colors. Should keep things interesting. Yeah, we kind of have some horizontal bands that go across a bit because of the shape of this pillar here. Yeah. And then we end up with some vertical ones further down. Oops. Working on all these pale colors, and then on my firefly piece, it's all dark. Yeah, working on space, the sky, so background is, yeah, very dark on that one. I have a lot of threads here. This color, just gonna take a look. Okay. Yeah, several longer ones. Yeah, so, yeah, I was trying to decide whether I want to join another long piece, but no. Makes more sense to join a shorter one here. Dear. I just trimmed my nails and now it makes it harder for me to pick up my needle without my claws. But easier to type on a computer and play on the piano when my nails are trimmed down, so it's kind of a trade-off. Try to leave this threaded, but it is a short piece, so it may not cooperate. So we were watching the season 3 premiere of Resident Alien last night. If you haven't watched that show, I highly recommend it. It's absolutely hilarious. It's starring Alan, and I don't know how to say his last name. He played Wash on Firefly, and in it, yeah, he's an alien who took over a person's form, you know, to blend in. But of course, he doesn't know how to act very human, right? And oh, it's absolutely hilarious, the blunders he makes. And yeah. Yeah, it's laugh out loud funny. I highly recommend it. If you get, in Canada, if you get CTV Sci-Fi, it's on there. Um, what used to be called the Space Station. Yeah, it's on that, and yeah. Yeah, they had a couple of kid characters on there, and the actors were so good. And yeah, there's one point when, and they know he's an alien, right? And then, anyway, there's one point when one of them, she says to him, somebody mentions the Men in Black, and she says, they're not all men, and they don't all wear black. And the alien says, well, then why do you call them that? And she says, because it sounds better than people in clothes. Yeah. Ugh. It is, I believe, PG-13, though, so yeah, be warned. A lot of the humor is definitely more grown-up humor. But it is really funny. Somebody's dog. Yeah, the other day I went on my walk. Somebody's dog must have gotten out of their yard. It was running all around and running. He was so friendly, running up to people. And then there's people like asking, like, is that your dog? It's like, nope, I never met him before. And then someone came out. She had a leash, and she said, well, I'll grab him and post on a line and see if anyone's missing him. Because, yeah, he had a little sweater on and a collar and stuff, so he had to be somebody's dog. Yeah. Yeah, probably the gate didn't latch or something, and he decided to go on an adventure, so I hope he found his humans again. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, we were, pardon me, latchkey kids, as, you know, most of us were as kids of the 90s. And we came home one time, and somebody's dog was in our yard, Doberman, so we were terrified, right? Even though I think he was actually really friendly and just wanted to play with us. But yeah, we were scared, couple of scared kids. So we grabbed a stick and threw it, and then like ran in the house and slammed the door. And I'm sure the dog probably went to fetch it. They came, it's like, hey, where'd you go? Oh. Oh. Fine. Go the other way. Didn't want to come up smoothly like that, so yeah, when it's filled with more threads, it can be harder to get the needle to come up without piercing them and making them lie funny, which is why I try not to close things in, because yeah, I find it's a little harder to keep it looking neat. At least for me, anyway. Okay, so. Ah, that one I have not used yet. I was pulling it slowly in case there was a needle attached, but there wasn't. might just cut it off around here, continue working downwards. I'll decide as I get there, as usual. Although maybe I might cut it off a little earlier, we'll see. Yeah, might just do that for now so I don't have as many sort of live needles. Yeah. So even though it's not quite extending to that diagonal, I might just, yeah, continue to do that. Like I say, the diagonals on my pattern are more of a rough guide than a hard rule for me. Okay, so yeah, back over here, fill out a bit more, then back over to the corner again, fill out some more, like I usually do. Oops. There we go. It's a staticky day, I think. Yeah, we really got that out here on the prairies. Grew up on Vancouver Island most of my childhood, so the air is a lot more humid, and I was not prepared for just how staticky it can get out here, where the air is drier. Okay, so 03, our new colors. Well, new were. I say new, but they came out like, sheesh, a couple years ago now. So 205 more to get to a total of 99,000. I don't think I'll get that though today. This is fairly confetti heavy, or at least a lot of color changing here, so we'll see. I just stitch till I feel like quitting. That felt wrong. Yeah, there was a knot, darn. Okay. Okay, it's on the back, so we are good. Okay, once again, I have 2 strands of this same color. Okay, so I'm going to park this over. Park this over here. Then use this one here. Like I say, I don't usually cross as I go, but I will this time so that the thread ends up on the other side. So yeah, this is sort of where I ended up making my arbitrary break point. Keep filling in downwards before I go back to the top and start filling in again. There we go. Yeah, just unthreading once I get to that spot. I'll rethread those later when I start working in that area again. Yeah, I wonder how long before I hit any more zeros. I think I hit a couple already on this piece, if I recall correctly, but yeah. Most of these big pieces, it takes until you're a good 2/3 to 3/4 done before you start hitting any zeros. I guess if you do a max color piece, you might hit some sooner since, yeah, there's more colors with just a few stitches. So yeah, there's one somebody said they had a max color pattern and one of the colors had 1 stitch in the whole pattern of the one color, so they ended up just changing it to something else because yeah, they didn't feel like buying a whole new skein of thread for 1 stitch. I did that once on a project. I didn't realize I had only 4 stitches of that color, It was super close to the color next to it, and I've never used that color since, and that was like 20 years ago, so yeah. Oh, well. Yeah, it was before I did full coverage pieces. I didn't really pay attention to sort of how many stitches there were of a color. In fact, I don't think it told you how many stitches there were of each color, because it was a very old dimensions pattern. Yeah, it was a fairy, not a fairy, a angel. Yeah. Yes, Christmas angels. I have one has a green dress flying one direction, and the other has a blue dress flying the other direction. So they're on opposite sides of my living room. Yeah, one has a candle and one has a wreath. Yeah. Although they don't entirely match, because I was using a hoop at the time and I tightened it a little too much, and I actually put a little hole in the fabric, and I ended up having to cover it up by stitching some, because it had random sort of like scattered metallic stitches to look like stars, and so I kind of extended them around so that I could cover up the little hole and make it look like it was part of the pattern. So yeah, you'll only see it if you look really, really close. And they don't quite match, because I didn't realize at the time. I bought the fabric for one, not realizing that they were prone to discontinuing fabrics. And this was before you could easily order stuff online. So yeah, I couldn't get a piece the same color, because it was like an oatmeal kind of color. And then when I went to do the second angel, yeah, I had to get like a ecru color piece in off-white. That was the closest I could get. So I learned my lesson. Next time, if you're going to do projects like that, buy all the fabric at once so that it will match. But I figure since they're on opposite ends of my living room, it's not as obvious. But yeah, unfortunately, like I said, I didn't realize. But of course, this was also back when I was, you know, a kid, and I was having to use paper route money to buy it. So it's not like I was exactly rolling in dough, right? Yeah, my sister and I actually shared the paper route, so. It was actually, it made it kind of easier, because instead of having to go back and forth across the street, we just walked down the street together, one of us on one side and one on the other, and then, yeah. We alternated as well, because one side, they all had the mailboxes like at the end of the drive, and so you could just walk by and, you know, put the papers in, and then the other side they didn't, so you had to walk all the way up each driveway and put it, you know, in the mailbox. So yeah, we took turns who got the easy side. Yeah, it was the local twice a week paper. Yeah. Of course, yeah, it doesn't get as cold as it does here. That's for sure. I do remember a couple of times that it was blowing snow, and that was pretty miserable. But yeah, snow was not as common an occurrence then. Yeah, they did not pay much. It was like 5 cents a paper or something. Yeah, it was very little. Hopefully they pay more now, but yeah. Our parents were a bit overprotective, and they didn't want us to get a paper route at first, because they said, well, people will see you're delivering papers at the same time every day, and maybe they'll kidnap you, you know. I was like, okay, but like every kid we knew our age had a paper route, you know. Ugh. You didn't want to give us an allowance, you know, and then you didn't want to let us earn our own money. Like, come on. And we got in trouble if we ever asked for anything, so yeah. They relented after that, but yeah. I remember I was not happy. Well, they finally did because one of our friends, his family, they were going on vacation in the summer. So when you did that, you needed to find somebody to cover your route. Because if you'd called the head office, if they had to do it, then, well, it wasn't good for you. So, yeah. Oh, come on, let go. Oh, that knot is just not going to relax, is it? Oh, I hate when it does that. But anyway, yeah, so it was someone who lived a few blocks away from us, and we got to take over his paper route for a couple of weeks and make the money. And so I guess that's why our parents saw that we could handle it, you know. So after that, we were allowed to get one. Ah, darn it. Yeah, the worst part about this is you usually end up having to undo some of the stitches you've done so that you can end up with an end long enough to tie off. Really interrupts everything. Yeah, nothing wrong with the stitches except for the fact that once I cut the knot out, the piece of thread left was too short. Okay. back over to the left and work out again. So yeah, it kind of goes horizontal here for a bit, and then it goes kind of vertical again. I kind of follow those, so say it makes a diagonal-ish direction. So I'm going to skip back and forth a bit rather than having two strands here. So, yeah. Since these two sort of branches are so close to each other, ouch, I can do them both with the same thread. Ah, that did not feel good. Okay, fortunately I didn't break the skin, so don't want to bleed on my project, right? Yeah. Okay. that already was out. Silly me. Did not realize it. Well, needed to grab a new strand anyway out of the envelope, so it's all good. I had a feeling I'd pulled a little too hard. I don't feel like ducking my head underneath to rethread that, so just pull it back. Redo that half a stitch. Easier on my back than bending into funny shapes. So yeah, I'll pay for that later. Notice it. Okay, almost felt like there was. Nope. I always want to try to find those before I stitch through them with other threads, or they are a real nightmare to try to remove. Or to try to fix, I should say. Okay, back over again. Okay. All right, so I've got, see the color branches off in two directions here. One of them goes down this way, and yeah, one of them goes across the other way. So yeah, this one I am going to carry on downwards and then start a new one, the ones that go across. I could, of course, choose to carry it up there as well. Either way would work. And then add another one further down. 98880. Goodness, this piece is not wanting to cooperate with me. So yeah, now it's 9 4/8 after it. Stitch in both directions with this thread, I think. So 90 more stitches and I'll be at 99,000. Yeah, so I think I have one more session before the end of the month. That would leave me with 1,000 more stitches to reach to 100,000. So that may actually be doable. We shall see. Try not to set too lofty of a estimate because it, yeah, like I said, just stresses me out if I can't reach it. So I don't want this to be a source of stress. Getting into some bigger blocks here so that'll go a little faster. Oh dear. Actually, I could stitch them all with the same color with the other thread. That's better. Okay, past 200 stitches for today. I think I may take a break there because, yeah, my legs are starting to complain at me. Want me to get up and stretch for a bit. So I was thinking maybe I'd stitch to 99,000, but yeah, that's a bit much. So I will call it a day there. Still pretty happy with that number that I put up today. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining me today, and hope to see you here next time. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.